once you've edited your image the way you want, you can export it by going up to the File and then clicking Export. Now this window is going to pop up and it's got a lot of choices, so let's just walk through each section. The first section is Export to. You're going to choose hard drive. Even if it's not going on your computer hard drive, it's going onto a hard drive unless you plan on emailing it or putting it on a CD or DVD. Mine goes to my external hard drive, and that's okay because it's going to a hard drive. Then we're going to pick the export location. This is where you want Lightroom to put the photo. It does not have to be in the same place as where the photo is, the original is. It can go into a separate location because this is the edit. Your original file is still on your computer and has not been touched. That's the nice thing about Lightroom, is it's a non-destructive program, meaning you can edit an image and your original stays the same. So we are now exporting the edited version. Typically what I like to do is put it in the same folder that it was imported in. And if it's for web, I will choose the folder web. I don't do anything with that. I don't choose custom name, but if you'd like to, this is where you can do it. You click rename and type in your custom name here. I just like to keep it the name of the file. Remember, you did have the option to rename all your files when you imported them, so maybe you did it there, but personally, I don't rename my files. This is if it's a video. This is not video. This is an image. And then file settings. This is really important. If you've ever exported something to either web or print and you put it on the internet and it didn't look right, or you sent it to a lab and it came back wrong, this is probably where the problem is. We want to export it as a JPEG, and our color space is sRGB. Basically, sRGB is the most universal color space, and it's the best for uploading images to the internet, such as Facebook or Instagram. There are other choices for you, and although it's tempting to pick something like ProPhoto RGB, that sounds super professional, and there are more color choices within that color space, it doesn't always look the best. And sometimes when you pick that one, it has a grayish look to it. So if you plan on putting this on the internet or printing it at a pro lab, I recommend the color space sRGB. For quality, I choose 94. And then that's all in that area. For image size, since this is for the web, meaning I'm going to export this image because I'm going to either put it on Facebook or my website or Instagram, then I will resize to fit. I choose the long edge, and then I will pick a pixel length. There's not a universal pixel size. This is something that you're just going to have to decide which one you want. If you export to Facebook, the current pixel size that they like for photos is 2048. So that's typically what I like to do. Now for my own website, I know that my images work best at 1400 pixels. So if you're putting it on a website, you need to check and see what the pixels they want for the longest edge. But if you're putting it on Facebook, 2048 is great. Sometimes if I know I'm only putting this image on Instagram, I may just export it at like 1000 pixels. So I choose just the long edge. You can choose width and height. I find that if you didn't pick the right proportions, it can distort your image. And then you can click short edge. And then for resolution, because this is for the web, I'm going to choose 72. This is PPI, pixels per inch. So this is very important. When you're uploading pictures to the internet, especially social media or a website, you do not want them full size. One, it slows down the site. Two, if someone steals your image, they are able to print it at a higher quality. So this is kind of think about the quality of your image. We want it a little bit lower on social media or when we're putting it on the web. For this one, we're going to do sharpen for screen because we're putting it on the web, and you can choose low, standard, or high. What I would suggest is playing around with those and seeing which one you like best for your images and how you like the way it looks. Basically, it's going to sharpen it a little bit more upon export. You have this option under metadata for it to export all your metadata, or you can just do your copyright and contact only. I would choose this one because if you choose all your metadata, if you had your geolocation on your camera, it could export that. It'll export your camera, your settings, everything. So again, this one is up to you, but you could just say only export my copyright and contact info only. Watermarking. Check out the watermarking video. You can figure out how to make your own watermark, and if you want to put a watermark on it, now is the time, because this is going on the web. And then for this one, I do nothing. Basically, this says in post-processing, after I export it, this is what I want you to do with it. Open it in Photoshop or export it to this place. I don't want it to do anything. And then you're going to click export. And it'll go ahead and put the photo where you told it to put it, which is right here. So if you want to choose a different folder, you can say specific folder, and then you go in here and choose. If you just want the same folder as original, meaning put it back wherever the original is, then you can choose that option right there. All of that is for when you export for web. If we want to export for print, we only need to change a few things. So again, I'm going to leave this the same folder as original, and I'm going to put it in a different folder, and I do this so I don't mix up the two files. I'm not going to rename it, but again, that's a personal choice. I'm going to leave it as JPEG, sRGB, and my quality is still going to be 94. However, with image sizing, I am not going to resize for fit. I am going to do resolution at 300 pixels per inch, because when we print our image, we want to make sure that we are sending them the largest file and that we send in many pixels as possible so that our image is not looking pixelated when we get it back. However, we do not want to sharpen for screen. Instead, you can choose sharpen for matte paper or glossy paper. I like matte. Test these out if you want low, standard, or high. Your choice here with the metadata, same as before. I would not watermark a printed image, so I would leave that unchecked, and then click export. Now, after you do all of this, you might find, okay, these are the exact same settings I use every time I want to send a photo to print. So if that's the case, you can create a preset for your export. I'm going to call this my print export. It'll put it under my users presets, say create. So now next time I come in here, if I want to export my images for print, I don't have to go back through and check everything. I can just click on this preset. And you can make another one for web if you like, so you only need to set this up once.